Coming to you live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka in Accra. My name is Selom Adonu. Tonight I'm here with
Eno Safo.
Coming up over the next 90 minutes.
He has the majority in the parliament. Why is he unable to send it back and whip his majority so that we don't get the two-thirds and then the bill fails? It's as simple as that. But he has chosen to cut this crisis. And so don't turn around and try to blame Bagwin or try to blame the minority and say that we are engaged in a tit for tat.
As the presidency and the Speaker of Parliament are engaged in a turf war, the majority and minority groups are at each other's throat over who is stalling government business in Parliament. Tonight we're hearing of frantic attempts to recall Parliament to attend to urgent matters or matters of the state. We'll tell you more soon. Also coming up, National Labour Commission orders striking teacher unions to return to the classroom on day 2 of their nationwide strike. Still on Eyewitness News, Graduate Nurses Association intensify their agitations to get government posting. We will tell you more. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and other stories on Eyewitness News and in business.
Executive Director of Revenue Mobilization Africa, Geoffrey Okanse, pushes for an overhaul of the country's tax system.
Eyewitness News is live across the country on all our affiliates and around the globe at citinewsroom.com. In the Western region, this is Premier 100.5 FM in Takrady, Sky Power 93.5 FM, also in Takrady, and Beach 105.5 FM, also in Takrady. In the Bono region, this is Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani, Hames Radio 106.5 FM in Goso in the Hafo region, Alpha Radio 104.9 FM in Kumasi, and also Orange 107.9 FM, both in Kumasi in the Ashanti region. In the Volta region, this is Global 105.1 FM in Ho, and Adanu 107.7 FM in Adakluwaya. This is Diamond 93.7 FM in Tamale in the Northern region, Westlink 88.1 FM in Laura in the Upper West region. In the Upper East region, this is Source 100.1 FM in Boku and 101.3 FM SCAP FM in Nakmanduri in the Northeast region of our country. Your comments are welcome via WhatsApp line 0549969996 0549986996. You can follow me on X, formerly Twitter, at Selom. I don't know the hashtag as always. A City Newsroom. Eno gives us our very first story.
The Attorney General and Minister for Justice Godfred Yeboah-Dame has asserted that Parliament is not inhibited from proceeding with the approval processes for ministerial and deputy ministerial nominees. This statement comes in response to the suspension of consideration for ministers and deputy ministers of state nominated by President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, as announced by the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, on Wednesday, March 20. Bagbin's decision was prompted by an interlocutory injunction filed at the Supreme Court by the Member of Parliament for South Dai, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamakpo. According to Bagbin, this injunction rendered Parliament unable to sanction new ministers nominated by President Akufo-Addo. In an official response to Bagbin, Godfred Yeboah-Dame emphasized that there was no risk of prejudice to the authority of the Supreme Court if Parliament continued with the approval processes for the nominees.
Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Let's go to the phone lines now and speak to the Honorable Samuel Atachi, a member of Parliament for Abuakwa South, very senior member of Ghana's Parliament and, of course, of the majority group. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. What's your own view as a senior member of the caucus and, of course, a senior lawyer as well on the current impasse between the office of the Speaker and the presidency in respect of assenting to bills and approving of president's nominees?
Well, it's very unfortunate that there seems to be a collusion cause between the executive and then the head of Parliament in relation to what I might perceive as a fundamental error on the part of Mr. Speaker. In the first instance, the President was saying that by reason of some processes filed in the Supreme Court, he doesn't believe that we should refer to him the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2024 for assent, because there is a pending injunction in relation to two suits in the Supreme Court. If you ask me sincerely, what the President was trying to say that I don't want to prejudge what is pending before the Supreme Court. And therefore, if you could hold your horses and not transmit the bill to me, that is what the way to go. In the first instance, most people believe that the president is trying to be law-abiding. Number two, the president is trying to respect the apex court so that the president does not prejudge what's there. Now, the speaker believes that the president's letter is an affront to the dignity of parliament. And the speaker is also of the view that that amounts to contempt, because the president cannot bring such a letter to parliament. And because of that, if the president is trying to respect the processes, the injunctive process of the Supreme Court, that is up to the president, but that is an affront to parliament. Most of us believe that that cannot be the case at all. A law-abiding and law-respecting president cannot be held to ransom. Even if he has made an error, you cannot find anywhere in the Constitution that the president has violated. There's no provision in the Constitution that offends against the letter from the office of president. And the speaker then does something which is very frightening. The speaker comes out to say that in equal measure, as we are respecting the injunctive processes in the Supreme Court, I will also not attend to your nominees and aid you to have them passed, for the simple reason that I also have an injunction at the instance of Honorable Tafia Mako pending before the Supreme Court. It turns out that is not true. That is a very, very serious matter, for the simple reason that at the level of intellectual elegance of the speaker, fundamental errors cannot be committed. So I am of the humble view that when men of renown should see palpable errors on their part, what they should do is to buckle and probably say, I'm sorry, I think I was misled or something like that, so that the business of government will not come to an unfortunate halt because of an obvious error coming from the speaker. So I believe that if I were Mr. Speaker, I'll eat humble pie and say that, look, the foundation of my action is not, valid. There's no injunction restraining the parliament from considering the nominees of the president. Because the Tafia Mako case relates to a different matter altogether. He was of the view that what the president says is revoked the appointments of some ministers. He couldn't reshuffle them. That is his view. He's entitled, and so that is contested. We don't see how that will impinge on, the ministerial nominees going through. So that is my sense of the whole matter.
I see, but people also raise issues about the president's consistency in principle. If he was acting in view of the principle, people have questioned that is he not the same person who went ahead to deal with the e-levy bill when indeed the matter had gone to the Supreme Court. I think it was a minority or a group that took the matter to the Supreme Court. He went ahead and did it, but the same processes or the same injunctive tools of the court were invoked. So where lies the principle? That is one. Number two, you make mention of the speaker's you call it a dangerous thing he did by saying he's been there's an injunction application has been filed when that's not the case. The president also recently, when he met the diplomatic group at Pediasi or so, after the bill was passed in Parliament, made mention of the fact that he was aware that a private citizen had gone to the Supreme Court to challenge the constitutionality of the bill. When at the time he was making that comment, the registrar suit had not been filed, and it was quite difficult for the president to know that a private citizen was preparing to go to the Supreme Court on a matter like this. So, people question the consistency in all of this.
Well, I don't see any values that we are espousing, whether two wrongs will make one right. And bear in mind, I don't have the full facts of what the president says in relation to which is Sky's matter independence of it. But here I am, in the context of what happened yesterday. That's a palpable wrong. If the president should make 1 million mistakes, it doesn't entitle anybody to also make mistakes. And you can't say that the president has made 1 million mistakes, so let me do another one which is so egregious and fundamental in terms of what you are turning out to Parliament, and which in a large measure is the foundation of your action. So please, you shouldn't confuse issues. Every man is prone to error. What we need for the sanity of the state, for men to concede ahead. And when we do that, then we know that those who are in authority are prepared to correct errors. And then we move on. But to say that there is a tendency of an executive process in the Supreme Court in relation to the Tavia Mako case, and when there is none, my brother, I don't know what you want to import into this equation and justify that the president has made some mistakes and therefore he should also do the same.
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to point out what people have called inconsistency. But be that as it may, there's issue that there's also the matter of whether the president should not have received it, because there was nothing stopping him from receiving it. What the injunction application sought to do was to injunct Parliament from transmitting it. So if anybody was going to be in contempt of court at all, that should be Parliament or the Speaker. So leave that to them and deal with yourself. I mean, you receive it, nothing stops you from receiving it. But he decided not to. So you don't think if he had just received it and said, okay, I've received it, but I'm awaiting the decision of the Supreme Court, you don't think that would have, solved all these matters, or that wouldn't have caused the storm we're seeing?
Well, I have said, and I still believe that maybe the president was nervous about the pendency of the matter in the Supreme Court. You can surmise that it's a law-abiding president. Maybe he didn't perceive it properly. Nevertheless, the letter came. Would it entitle anybody on the foundations of wrong evidence say that the ministerial nomination should not be approved? That is where the issue is. How can anybody say that even the president is wrong, which I believe in this case is not wrong because it's not violated in the law? And what he wrote to Parliament is not binding on Parliament, because the president cannot fetter Parliament from working. We know that as a fact. How do you justify what you said as pending in the Supreme Court, which are turned out not to be true? That is the real issue. But when you are trying to talk about tit for tat and people believe that, okay, the president is in error and therefore somebody is also should justify his errors, that will not help in the way you are doing that democratic governance at all. I don't believe it's right to even compare the two issues. So what it means is that on the fundamental point of error, the whole army of ministers who should be approved to go and help in the running of the state has been checkmated. Not because of law, but because of error. How can we entertain that? And that is my concern. I hold the Speaker, to be very honest with you, in the highest esteem. I find him a very knowledgeable Speaker. But let me tell you, I'm always nervous about people who do not want to concede their mistakes. It is only God who cannot make a mistake. So when you make a mistake, please, for Christ's sake, say, I got it all wrong. Can we remedy it? So that you continue with the business of government. Because now, we didn't consider the ministerial nominees, and the House was suspended. And it was not only that. There were some loans that had to be approved, so that we continue to have some forex, and then that will show up our city. They were not considered at all. In the fever of the moment, he just again and left us.
I see. So now, where do we draw the line? People have also said that we need to draw the line somewhere about issues about injunction application. Of course, I'm aware of the two schools of thought, but it does appear that the school gaining dominance these days is the one that says that once the application is filed, it operates as a stay on the processes, etc. But should that also be the case for the organs of government or the arms of government, for example? So somebody doesn't like something that is about to happen, the person runs to the Supreme Court. It could be on a frivolous matter, and then files an injunction application. That, by filing of that application, it holds the process and it stays the process. Is that the way we should be looking at it? Or we should say, no, that we should rethink this whole thing and make some exceptions? What's your honest view as a senior lawyer and as a lawmaker?
You see, these matters are the preserve of the Supreme Court. You understand? in your studio and where I'm speaking from, our opinions will not matter. It is only judicial pronouncement that we should abide by. And guess what? You cannot stop people from messing up with the system. Like you rightly said, somebody believes that, let me just have some funny action file and let me couple with an injunction just to see whether I'll be able to stop some shenanigans. So I wouldn't want to say too many times, but the Supreme Court has made some pronouncements. Let's go into those pronouncements and see whether it is right for anybody to injunct Parliament from doing his work, or on another level, whether it is right for anybody to injunct the President from doing his work. I think the Supreme Court has come out with some decisions that say that it is averse to that process. But in this context, with the greatest of respect, where there is no injunction pending, then we cannot even make these arguments. There is the monumental error which has been committed. If I told you that there's a pending injunction application and it turned out to be false, you understand? If you ask me sincerely, and I've told you I hold this particular in the highest esteem, it's to say, I got this wrong. And I'm telling you, I'm very nervous to meet a man who says I will never get it wrong. And then we remedy it so that probably this house will be recalled. So that the government business will continue. Because the House of Parliament does not exist to have a collusion cause with the executive. You see, the trinity in the democratic architecture are supposed to have complementarity. They complement each other. They aid each other, so that we can have democracy having a very seamless operation. But where it is obvious that on the ground of a very huge error, the speaker seems to sort of hijack the power of Parliament, and the executive cannot have the full complement of its ministers to aid the president in the running of the state. It leaves much to be done. So please, for Christ's sake, I don't want to do jurisprudence on your studio, but if the evidence is staring at the speaker in the face, that look, this is what's happening, then I am of the humble view that in his exalted place, you should say that, look, I think I made an error. Parliament should come back and let's do the government business, and now end the matter.
I see. I take note of the fact that a lot of the issues you have been on the speaker side when there are two parties in this matter. But that's fine. How about the claim that the president is gradually establishing a pattern of behavior in terms of his decisions or otherwise, his decision to accent to the bill, to bills or otherwise. So, for example, the witchcraft bill is being talked about, and the death penalty bill is also being talked about. The president, refused simply to accent to them, stating issues of private members' bills, etc., when indeed he had accented to an earlier one. So again, the issue about consistency comes up. Any view on those ones?
Well, I will not say that there is a pattern from the president end to sort of frustrate the processes of assenting to those. Even if he does that, you understand, he can bring it to his attention in a very civil engagement. We should not say, and I'm not saying that is the state of affairs, the errors of the president, or if you like, his tactics, if you like, to anger the legislature so much that let's frustrate him in what he's doing. If the president is doing something which is, if you like, unconstitutional, there are processes to bring the president to order. But we will lower the standards of governance to say, let's do a tit for tat. Let's ensure that we frustrate his work, because we send some bills to him and he doesn't want to consent to those bills. I don't believe that's the way to go. We can always, even as a house, match to the presidency with the speaker as our boss. And the president, we want to have a tete-a-tete with you. We believe that these are matters of a grave concern, and you've done it once, you've done it twice. We believe these are the areas of error. But threatening the president publicly or doing things to let the president look bad is not the way to go. That's my view. Yes, it's not the way to go. If you say that, you know what you're doing, you want to point your relationship with the president, but that is not your role. A poisoned relationship with the speaker and the presidency will not augur well for democracy, period.
I see. Also, how about people who think that the speaker may be getting frustrated by some of these things? Anti-witchcraft bill, death penalty, now anti-LGBT. He may be getting frustrated by how things are panning out. And indeed, he is one we've seen to hold dear the doctrine of separation of powers, etc. Won't you call this parliamentary assertiveness? And as a lawmaker, this should make you so happy that indeed we now have a speaker who is able to assert the views of parliament and do so forcefully.
Well, in so doing, you don't commit errors too. Trying to let the president wake up to your sense of the passing of laws. Make sure it doesn't become feverish. You see, when we say the speaker is getting frustrated, so frustration should yield to anger, and anger should yield to error. Is that where we want to go? The speaker is a very experienced man. To be saying that I'm frustrated because the president is not doing what I expect him to do. When the president is doing what the speaker is not expecting him to do, there can be what we call serious engagement. I am saying that the two men are not, excuse me to say, boys in democracy. They are both experienced. The president is not cheap, and the speaker is not a juvenile when it comes to democracy. So if the speaker believes that, let the leadership have an appointment with the president, and let's engage the president on what we perceive as a pattern of frustrating the passage of bills. And let's hear the president. For all you know, understanding was done, and then we go into the chamber to do what is right. But when the speaker sits in judgment over the president in the chamber, and the president is not there to respond, I am of the view that then the relationship is degenerating. For democracy. Yeah, I
see. We understand there are frantic efforts to recall Parliament to attend to the outstanding matters. Any confirmation of that, sir?
Sir, I don't have any sense of that, but that's the way to go. In the face of an error, I know that the speaker will not cook lies to do what he did. I believe him. I have a lot of respect for the speaker that it might be a genuine error. When we see a genuine error, let's correct it. And
very well.
Let's recall Parliament to do what is needful.
Very well. We're also picking up signals that the minority are signaling their intention to institute impeachment proceedings. Have you caught wind of any such information against the president?
Oh my God. Over this matter? Over what?
I think over this matter and generally matters of state, that he is not running the affairs of state properly. But this obviously is a trigger.
I say it's not propaganda. You see, and grandstanding. You understand? The opposition can even write a very simple note and turn on the light if they believe that the president is in error.
All right.
Well, some of these things, I don't know how you will succeed. You see, if the president is in error, does it amount to a ground for impeachment? Do you impeach a man because he's in error? Which a lot of people believe he's not in error. That is his view. And in a democracy, do not be averse to the views of others. Immediately you have that poster, you are being dictatorial. If the president doesn't think, let's impeach him.
Very well.
That is proving out.
Very well. Thanks so much. The Honorable Sabola Tacha, a member of Parliament for Buakwa South, and he's been Minister for Works and Housing, and now he chairs the Parliamentary Committee on energy or mines, I think. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Now let's speak to an experienced legislator as well. He's no more in Parliament though. Honorable Inusa Hussein, former Tamale Central Member of Parliament on the ticket of the NDC. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. I'm curious to know what your own views on the impasse has been since we started hearing or seeing it.
Well, thank you for having me. The own view is that this is a needless rising of tension by the office of the president, consequent upon the letter that was written by his executive secretary to the clerk of parliament.
I see, but the speaker feels that the domain of parliament is being encroached upon, and he thinks that he has to assert what we may call parliamentary, not supremacy, but independence. And so he finds it an affront that the president will treat matters that parliament has transmitted to him in the manner the president did.
The speaker is obviously concerned with the apparent unconstitutional acts of the president in the way he's treated bills passed by parliament. The things that the combined effect of that is to lower the parliament in the estimation of the Ghanaian people and weaken the institution of parliament. As head of the institution, he has a responsibility to ensure that the dignity and sanctity of the institution is maintained. The speaker's recent action is a vivid demonstration of the absurdity of the decision of the presidency to reject the letter, the transmittal of the bill passed by parliament to his office.
People think that all that you've said notwithstanding, the president erred on the basis for which he, should I say, adjourned parliament without considering the president's nominees. He said in equal measure he was unable to deal with the approval of the ministers and deputies because there was a pending injunction application before the Supreme Court, when indeed and factually at the time of the statement that application hadn't come to the notice of the Supreme Court.
I've just told you that when the matters outside the respective domains of the arms of government are brought into being or are made to influence the performance of the functions of the various arms of government, it leads to this level of absurdity. And that's what we are seeing. The president alluded to the writs filed at the Supreme Court, challenging the constitutionality of the human sexual values and sexual rights and family values bill. Now, in consequence upon the presence of those writs in the Supreme Court, the president felt he was incapacitated in sending his signature to the bills or refusing to do so. Now, the president, instead of allowing the processes that has been spelled out in the Constitution to go his full hog, the president, through his executive secretary, truncated the process. That caused the ire of Parliament. Parliament was deeply troubled by that action. And that's why they took the action. And so, clearly, the two actions by Dr. Odoy and Mr. Sky have not been pronounced upon by the Supreme Court. So there is no binding judicial decision on that matter on the president. The suit of the Joseph Moko has not been pronounced upon by the Supreme Court. So there is no binding judicial decision on the Speaker. Mr. President decides that in the absence of a binding judicial pronouncement in these two writs, he is going to flout the express provisions of Article 106.7 and 106.8 and refuse to accept the transmission of a bill that has been passed by Parliament. Mind you, the enacting formula for any law in Ghana is bills passed by Parliament and assented to by the President. So this duality of rules must come into being before we can say an enactment has been born. The president truncated the process. He did not take advantage of the 7 days contained in Article 1067. Neither did he take advantage of the 14 days contained in Article 1068, and so refused to take advantage of the 30 days contained in Article 90 if the bill were referred to the Council of State. Cumulatively, the president chose to ignore the 51 days window given him by the Constitution to deal with a situation as exists today. How do you expect Parliament to react to such a development?
I see. Just to pick your view, because you're an experienced member of the House, is it out of order for the Secretary to the President to communicate a matter like this in the way he did from the presidency to Parliament? Is that normal? Is that out of order?
Well, the Secretary also in communicating did not communicate to the Speaker, but communicated to the clerk and said it was for the attention of Cyril K.O. in Sia. So I think the Secretary knew that he was treading on dangerous ground. That was why he wrote to the clerk and not to the Speaker.
Others have said that the President don't want to be in contempt by going ahead to work on the bill because of the application. Indeed, I heard you say that there was no binding decision of the court on the President or the Speaker. But the law, as we have come to see it, is that once an injunction application is pending, that operates as a stay until the application is dealt with by the court. Of course, there's another view, but this view I've just espoused is becoming or has become the dominant view.
The dominant view is for the persons to respect the court and to ensure that they do not do anything that will prejudice the outcome of their cases or cause irreparable damage or harm when the case is decided one way or the other. But that is within civil law. That is within parties. That is not constitutional. A constitution is sui generis. It is not any basic law. It is the ground norm. All basic laws take their source from the Constitution. So the standard in abdicating rights between parties is different and ought to be different from the standard to be used in adjudging or engaging compliance with provisions of the Constitution. That's what we should understand first. Two, even though the provision or the principle of law does seem to suggest that when actions are filed in court, those actions must operate to stay any further development between parties on the matters litigated. That view springs most largely from the British judicial authorities. Britain has no written constitution. Even though our courts, and let me hasten to add, even though our courts have followed those decisions because they have been persuasive, but Britain has no written constitution. Ours is a democracy that has got a written constitution, which constitution has established institutions and organs of state and vested those organs with powers and instituted substantive, procedural, and institutional limitations on the exercise of those powers. two different things. I agree that might be the dominant view. But as a person, a student of constitutional law, I believe that the standard in adjudicating cases involving the Constitution must definitely be different from that. And especially where the Constitution imposes a responsibility on a person, an institution. Can we lawfully say that if that person is carrying out that responsibility in accordance with the procedure provided by the same Constitution, that person or institution can be injuncted from performing that duty? Is it reasonable? Does that sound logical? Will it be sound law? In any case, don't you think that even if the court comes to the conclusion that Parliament ought to be injuncted, that the Speaker ought to be injuncted, that would be tantamount to an amendment of the Constitution?
I see. Quite interesting. Interesting days ahead, and we eagerly await what the Supreme Court, the law lords at the Supreme Court, will have to say about this. Thank you so much, the Honorable Inseni, for speaking to us on Eyewitness News. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. A number of your messages here. This one from Frederick says, what's Honorable Atacha saying? When the President told the international community that there is a challenge on the bill, had the Sky application been filed? Was it not filed a day after? In equal measure, if the Speaker has heard there is an injunction which is filed a day after, what is the difference? Principles thrown to dogs, you say. Daniel Akpalio from Sandema says the Speaker of Parliament, the Right Honorable S.K. Babin, has acted in the right direction by halting the approval of the Akufo-Addo ministers. This will at least afford the President the opportunity to reduce the elephant size of his government. Nana Addo has demonstrated beyond reasonable doubt that he is unwilling to assent to the anti-LGBT bill, and thus has resorted to the use of executive powers to suppress the will of the people. If the President really respects the rule of law, he would not have assented to the e-levy bill while the same was in court. Kudos to Speaker Babin. Professor Samuel Donko in Tamale says, why is Mr. Thatcher only talking about the mistake of the Speaker but not talking about a more serious offense of the President dragging his feet in signing the anti-LGBT bill? Hassan Hamdan from Yonyini South says he has made the judiciary lose integrity. He thought he could extend it to the legislature. Worst president in the history of Ghana, you say. Zalex Duane in London says the Attorney General must be serious. Paul Aka Jr. from Ahafumim says the politicians are just playing with our lives. They only seek their parochial interest, but not the utmost interest of those who voted them into power. Mokoli says Mr. Thatcher is picking and choosing. He should answer the question of the inconsistency of the Akufo-Addo, of President Akufo-Addo, and stop asking the Speaker to apologize. Has Akufo-Addo apologized for all the errors he has committed while in office? Jones Adoboinla says, good evening, sir. The President deliberately, or the President's deliberate action was met with equal measure. The Constitution is our guiding principle. Therefore, we all obliged, or we are all to act in accordance with the Constitution. Kudos to the Speaker. Ghanaians are not angry enough. General Ortega says, Salam, is highly hypocritical and sacrilegious to say we are erecting monuments to honor God, yet we are struggling to prescribe what he detests. What a shame. And this one from Kwame Bill Gates in Tessano says the President brought this upon himself. Why should he, in the first place, write such a letter to Parliament? Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll deal with matters of the teachers' strike and what the National Labour Commission has been saying to them. Don't go away.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how's your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Charlie, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that?
Yes, so
Somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched.
Sancho Panza Pan.
Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine
Younger for longer.
Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Easter is just around the corner, and Volta Serene Hotel has something extraordinary planned just for you from March 29th through to 1st of April 2024. Bobo celebrations and unforgettable moments await you. Our 2-night package starts at just 4,400 Ghana cedis for couples and 7,150 Ghana cedis for a family of 3 or 4. Looking for an extended stay? Our 3-night package is available at 5,604 Ghana cedis 50 pesos for couples and 9,350 Ghana cedis for a family of 3 or 4. Book your escape now on 054 153 9867 or 020 503 8763. It's Easter at Volta Serene Hotel. Come feel the serene touch.
When you want to eat, just Momo it. Tired of the long queues in the supermarket? Pay with Momo. When you really want that beautiful new blouse, just Momo it. When you want to get a trim and get fresh to impress you know who, just Momo it. When you need to pay your utility bills and domestic staff, Shani Momo. When you want to send love to the family back home, send some Momo. Join the millions of MTN Momo users all over Ghana and live life the brighter way. So just Momo it. MTN.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Many thanks for staying with us. Let's do some more stories. The National Labour Commission has ordered the 3 striking teacher unions to call off their strike. The Ghana National Association of Teachers, the National Association of Graduate Teachers, and the Coalition of Concerned Teachers on Wednesday, March 20, declared a nationwide strike. The action, they said, stemmed from what they described as the government's negligence in addressing their conditions of service. Meanwhile, teaching and learning went on in some schools visited by City News and Accra, despite the nationwide strike declared by 3 teacher unions. A teacher who spoke anonymously to City News argued that the decision by their leaders was not well communicated to them.
Well, I heard it yesterday, but I think some of the teachers too heard it this morning. But everybody's in school and teaching and learning is ongoing.
Which of the associations do you belong to?
Not.
Was there no official communication to you?
I saw it this morning.
And in that regard, are you disobeying the association you belong to?
I'm not.
Then why are you in school when they say you should be at home and be resting? Are you not tired?
Well, I love the job. And these are Ghanaian children. They are innocent. Even though we want better services, a better condition of service, but we also have to look at the children. That's why we like. Teaching and learning is ongoing. All we know is about maybe increment in salaries and all that. It hasn't gone down. The education has not been well done. Maybe that's why we are in school.
So this is a failure on the part of your association leadership.
I won't say so. I won't say that. But they have to come again and educate the masses.
That was a teacher speaking to City News on condition of anonymity. The National Union of Ghana Students is urging the government to promptly address grievances raised by teacher unions regarding their conditions of service. In an interview with City News, President of NUGS, Daniel Oponchireme, highlighted the disruption caused by such strikes, considering the already disrupted academic calendar due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
These
strike actions by various unions directly affect we as a student because we are the direct beneficiary of their services. So when we get to situations where these teachers are going on strike, it hits us very hard already when the academic system has already been distorted right from COVID till now. When we've gone through their news, we've gone through their items and even the things they've stated in their letter regarding their conditions of service, and also including their laptops, which has not gotten to the ends of some of the teachers as well. All genuine concerns that I feel that as a matter of urgency, I think no side should take an entrenched position. As a matter of urgency, we should be able to find a resolution quickly so that our teachers could go back to the class because these teachers are teaching the basic, the very foundations of our educational ecosystem, which is the basic schools specifically. So if there's a hitch in the foundation, it's going to create a lot of issues. So as soon as possible, I think it's one of the key things I'm pleading that the government will take the necessary steps to place. What we can do is as soon as possible get to the ministry, look at fair wages and others, and then we know how best to fast track the events to ensure they get back to the class as soon as possible.
Daniel Oponchirme is the president of the National Union of Ghana Students.
Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Now, the Graduate Unemployed Nurses and Midwives Association is lamenting the failure of government to post its members. The group expresses discontent with the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Finance for their failure to provide financial clearance and permanent employment for the trained nurses and midwives. The General Secretary of the association, Atta Asante, joins us on the line to help us appreciate their position into some more detail. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. I recall a couple of weeks ago you started a series of actions demonstrating or protesting at various places to force the government at least to give you financial clearance. That process obviously hasn't yielded much, has it?
Yes, please. Good evening. My greetings to all your listeners. Yeah, we started this engagement with the ministry, both agencies, Ministry of Health and Ministry of Finance. Dialogue and thinking something better will come out of it. But anytime you get to them, whatever they will tell you is go soon, the clearance will come. You don't know whether the clearance is coming by way through walking. You don't know when it is getting home. We tried the media engagement about 2 months ago. None of the ministry has responded to our plea. We did demonstration on the 1st of March at Tamale. Yet nobody has spoken to us. About a week ago, we saw your post, that's City News post, that the Ministry of Health said they were going to meet with the Ministry of Finance to expedite the clearance, the process of giving us the clearance. It's about 2 weeks now, and no feedback has been given to us. My brother, we are suffering a lot. Some of us are being ejected from our homes because we are not being able to pay our rent. Some of us are sick. Some of us are having different financial burdens. We've done a lot of things, but nothing is coming out of it. Any day, anytime you go to the ministries, what they tell you is, go soon, it will come. We don't know how soon this soon is coming.
I see, but you are trained nurses. Can't you work in private hospitals?
The private hospitals, you'll be employed in a private hospital. At the end of the month, you'll be paid 1,000 cedis. Let's consider the living condition in Accra. Working at Osu, staying at Dansoman, you have to take a car every day to Osu or any other part of Accra aside your locality. And the transportation alone will finish the amount of money given to you.
I see. So, in other engagements, what you say is it's just been promises upon promises.
Promises upon promises.
Yes. So beyond the protests and all of that, what else can you do to get this posting or financial clearance?
We as graduates cannot do much in our capacity. We have not much capacity to force them to post us. It's what we are saying is we are pleading with the leaders. The whole thing is somebody was trained for 2 years. and has stayed home for 4 years, getting to 5 years. So let's consider what he acquired through the 2 years is now diminished. If you post him tomorrow to the world, he has to start learning everything. The only advantage he has is because he was trained some years ago, he will get easily recapturing them. Somebody was trained for 3 years and he has stayed in a home for 4 good years. The knowledge he acquired is just rotten off. As I'm talking to you, I'm a graduate nurse and I have to engage myself in mason work. It's not like the mason work is not good. I was not trained for mason work. But I've been in a house without doing that mason work. There's nothing I could do to survive. My parents took loan to take care of me. Others too, their families, they sold their family property to take care of them. Now they've become burdened. They've become useless. What worsen the matter is, some of our colleagues are being posted underground. You ask them and they'll tell you, I had a colleague who took me 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 to get me this posting. And I can tell you to take your camera and your microphone to the various hospitals, especially the child hospitals throughout the nation. Go and seek it from the administrators. You get to find out that even 2022, who are just about to finish their national service, some of them are in the world working. Meanwhile, the 2020 batch, who are the pioneers of this association, are still in the house, jobless.
I see. We can only wish you the best in your quest to get posted by the employer. Thank you so much, Atasanti, for speaking to us, and we hope that soon you get your posting. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Daniel Akpalo from Sanema says teachers have been taken for granted for far too long in this country. Being a teacher in Ghana is almost like a curse. In fact, many persons are in the teaching profession today as a result of lack of alternative, and there is no doubt that Ghana will run out of teachers in the near foreseeable future. The teacher also deserves the best of the national cake. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We'll take a short break. When we return, Citi Business News will be up next.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
KB, aka Kubeboga, now drives a Bugatti. He can even travel by road from Accra to London. Oh, wow. KB's source of wealth is agriculture. Yes, coconut business. After losing his bank job, he started supplying coconuts at events. Now, he owns large coconut plantations and employs many young people. Charlie, we all need to trust the process, because hope day.
There has never been a better time to enter into agribusiness. Take a bold step today with the Ghana Grows program, because every step pays. Ejuma Wokrom, Ghana Grows, Hope Day, an initiative of the MasterCard Foundation in partnership with Springboard Roadshow Foundation and Limehouse.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa!
Bobo, so how's your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Charlie, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panzapa. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Ladies and gentlemen, Telecel is here!
Telecel, connecting energies. Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. City Business News. Be informed.
Time now for City Business News on Eyewitness News, brought to you by GCB Bank PLC. GCB Personal Loan, make that big move and dream a reality. My name is Enu Safo. Let's settle for the details. Executive Director of Revenue Mobilization Africa, Geoffrey Kabute-Okansi, is advocating an overhaul of the country's tax regime. According to him, this is critical to resolve the leakages in the tax system. Speaking on the Oxfam Tax Dialogues, Geoffrey Kabute-Okansi noted that though the country has a fair tax system, there is the need to address deficiencies in tax collection and allocation processes to maximize revenue utilization.
We have an okay tax regime. Okay. Let me be fair. I would be fair in the sense that when you look at the number of tax handles that we have as a country, we have one of the wonderful tax structures. And the problem has been how we go onto the field and apply what we've put on paper. Okay. So as a country, if you looked at the number of tax handles, yeah, we are tax sufficient. I don't see us adding more tax handles. The problem has been collection. And when it's been collected, the second phase, when you collect the revenue, tax revenue, you put it in a kitty. Mm-hmm. That's where you need to properly look at where to put the blame. So she's a collector. Yeah. When she collects, she puts it somewhere in the fund. Her duty ends there. Yeah. Mind you to say, it's government that applies the resources. Utilization. And I'll give you a question that we all have to think about. Yeah. Why are people paying tithes and not paying taxes? Actually, let us segregate the rules very well. We are paying, she collects, somebody applies the resources. The problem as we speak right now is people are saying they are not seeing what you are doing with their tax revenue. Okay, when you go onto the ground, he expects to see schools, he expects to see roads, you can't blame him.
That was the Executive Director of Revenue Mobilization Africa, Geoffrey Kabute-Okansi. The director of the Institute for Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Korte, has called for diligent efforts to bolster Ghana's industry growth. According to the data from the Ghana Statistical Service, the industry sector contracted by 1.2% compared to 0.6% GDP in 2022. It, however, remains the biggest size of the economy. Expressing concern over recent economic trends, Professor Korte emphasized that while there has been some improvement in industry growth, it is not sufficient to spur significant progress.
I don't think we should be excited. Rather, we should work hard to ensure that industry growth would grow at a much significant pace. We've seen construction contracting by 9.9. It tells you that contractors are struggling to get access to finance. Contractors are not being paid on time, and that sector is contracting. And this is a source of worry for us. We've seen manufacturing pick up marginally, another major sector, but just a marginal 0.9% growth. And even electricity is minus 10.9%. So these are all areas we need to look at.
You heard the director of the Institute for Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Korte. The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana International Bank, Dean Adanse, has emphasized the importance of tapping into the lessons from the challenges that confronted the banking industry in the last 2 years. The Ghanaian financial sector is recovering from the severe distress characterized by an insolvent banking system as a result of the domestic debt exchange in 2022. Speaking on the sidelines of the Ghana International Bank cocktail event to launch the bank's 65th anniversary, Dean Adanse expressed optimism about the current outlook of the sector.
I think the lessons learned are, one, you have to manage your risks appropriately, whether it's credit risk or prudential risk or operating risk. So risk management for us is a priority. Number two is treating our clients well. Right? That's without your clients, you're not going anywhere, right? And number three, having a strong balance sheet to withstand shocks that will certainly come. I think GHIB today has a very, very strong balance sheet. We're very liquid, and I think we are very resilient.
That was the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana International Bank, Dean Adanse. Lead advisor for the Drive Electric Initiative under the Energy Commission, Doris Agbevivi, is urging the government to take decisive action in promoting the adoption of electric vehicles nationwide. Doris Agbevivi says the transition to EVs will create a sustainable transportation system in the country. While acknowledging recent efforts to prioritize public transportation and local vehicle assembly, she argues for extending incentives to include individual consumers and private enterprises.
The unavailability of incentives for EV buys being something that could have been done, but as I said, if Ghana doesn't have so much money to do that, we have to look at the priority areas for the government, and the priority areas became those of public vehicles and at the same time for assembly. That is why the incentives that were announced in the budget statement last year only tackled these two. But I'm hoping that in the future there can be a conversation around that. And the cost of ownership of vehicles has become something that people, because of the very huge customs, they are the highest that pay customs at the port. But because the price of the vehicle itself is so high, when you pay a huge amount at the port, it makes it extremely, difficult for you to obtain a vehicle. So that.
Lead advisor for the Drive Electric Initiative under the Energy Commission, Doris Agbevivi. That's all for City Business News on Eyewitness News. The business news on Eyewitness News is brought to you by GCB Bank PLC. GCB Personal Loan, make that big move and dream a reality. My name is Inu Safo. Up next is Point Blank.
Hello, Linda! You won't believe what I am planning next. I want to start my postgraduate degree, buy a car, and build my dream home. But you know what's stopping me?
What's that, Mike?
Money, oh. That be my biggest wahala.
Oh, you are sorted, Kra. With a GCB Big Move personal loan promo, you can borrow up to a whopping 400,000 Ghana cedis at a significantly reduced interest rate in less than 24 hours.
Like, seriously? How do I qualify?
Yes, it's available to all GCB salary account holders. Plus, you get a 2-month grace period before you start to pay back.
Susket! I'm opening an account with GCB now.
Get a personal loan of up to 400,000 Ghana cedis at a significantly reduced interest rate in less than 24 hours. Call 0800-422-422 or visit your nearest GCB branch today to fund your next big move as we celebrate 70 years of greatness. T's and C's apply. GCB Bank, your bank for life.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
KB, aka Kubeboga, now drives a Bugatti. He can even travel by road from Accra to London. Oh, wow. KB's source of wealth is agriculture. Yes, coconut business. After losing his bank job, he started supplying coconuts at events. Now, he owns large coconut plantations and employs many young people. Charlie, we all need to trust the process, because hope day.
There has never been a better time to enter into agribusiness. Take a bold step today with the Ghana Grows program, because every step pays. Ejuma Wokrum, Ghana Grows, Hope Day, an initiative of the MasterCard Foundation in partnership with Springboard Roadshow Foundation and Limehouse.
Ladies and gentlemen, Telecel is here! Telecel, connecting energies.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
My name is Salom Adonu. Tonight on Point Blank, we are interrogating one of government's projects. Call it the Ghana Smart Schools Project. It forms part of government's efforts to enhance e-learning and digitalization. We understand that there will be a launch of this program on March 25, sometime next week, Monday. And we've managed to get the executive director for the Center for National Distance Learning and Open Schooling, SENDLOS, Nana Jemfi Ejwabo, to help us appreciate the project and what the project is all about, whether Ghana will be getting value for money in its quest to make our students globally competitive. Hello, Mr. Jobo. Welcome to Point Blank on Eyewitness News.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, SENDLOS. I mean, one of the very first times I heard of SENDLOS was during the COVID period. But now it does seem that your activities have gone down a bit.
No, I think you are right. But it is even now very, very high. COVID promoted a lot of our activities, but recent transmission of education has also projected us to a different level now, especially with the Ghana Smart Schools about to happen.
So this Smart Schools project, what really is it about? Why the Ghana Smart Schools project? What is it? What is it supposed to do?
Yeah, firstly, greetings to your listeners and viewers, and I bring you greetings from the Ministry of Education and greetings from the Honorable Minister for Education, Honorable Dr. Yawse Duchum, and all the people at the Ministry of Education. It's very good to be here today for us to discuss this important initiative by the visionary President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, who understands the importance of education, with his Lieutenant Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, who also understands the importance of education. The Ghana Smart Schools is to support the free SHS introduction and free TVET. It's basically an extension of those initiatives. The free SHS was introduced to create or to bring access in our educational system. There's still significant number of people that still need access. Any government will sit to analyze to see how we can reach that people, to make sure we don't leave anybody out, especially if we want to improve the SDG 4 agenda that talks about access, equity, and quality. So this is part of the reason why the President and the Minister for Education think this is the important initiative to bring that quality access that we look for every Ghanaian student to receive education, irrespective of location.
So the project means to be giving out laptops or tablets to students. Students at what level?
Right now, we are doing it in phase implementation, and the focus is on SHS 1, 2, 3. And the reason is we want to see how this project will go for the people of Ghana. So phase implementation in that. So we have selected 15 schools, and additional schools will come. And we know we have close to 503 SHS. So everyone should relax and wait for their time. So it's phase implementation for us to deliver this important tablets to every student, again, irrespective of location. We believe in equity in education, and we want to deepen that. So everyone will also receive their tablets when it's their time on the schedule.
So these 15 schools, what was the spread? How are they spread across the country?
Everywhere. I mean, we have across the regions. We did not, every initiative we do at the Ministry of Education and by extension SENDLOS is backed by data. We are data-driven ministry and agencies. So we do assessment in the country to know that this is how we should implement projects. And once we receive the data, we selected those based on the data, and everyone.
So the data in this case would do what? I mean, because there are 16 regions in the country. If you were even choosing one district, one school per region, that should give about 16. So this means that some regions will not even be part of the first phase at all.
They will receive some. Per what we have now, the data comes in because, again, we do a checklist. And the checklist, every school should be ready to receive their tablets. So based on the checklist, we know which one is ready. And those that are not ready, we work with FPMU and other agencies at the ministry to get them ready to meet the qualifications we look for. But as of now, I can tell you that almost 99% of the schools is ready to receive their tablets. And in the checklist, we look at, of course, availability of good classrooms, and of course, with security doors, and we look at other things, connectivity and other devices to support this project, which is firmly on the checklist, and we've done all that. That is where the data comes in. So
I see. So these gadgets will be powered by the internet?
We have some that is internet based, and you can also use it in an offline mode. St. Louis, what we do is infusion of ICT into education. So these tablets, some can be used once it's connected. So if you are not connected, you still can use the tablet. You can download, you can use it on an offline mode, and you can also use it in an online mode. So it's sort of a hybrid system. And these tablets comes with content already. It's already loaded with GES NACA approved content. So it's more to replace sort of textbooks, you understand, to be on the tablet. So those textbooks that we have in the system, all or most of them has been digitized, and now it's on the tablets now. Yeah,
but it's replacing textbooks. That's quite interesting. What happens to the textbook industry then? Printers and all of that, they will be out of business, won't they? Because if this thing is successful, you're rolling out across the country, all secondary schools will have this, everybody in SHS will have this, then they won't buy textbooks.
I mean, it depends how you see it. If you look at Kindle Fire, publishers are even in business when it comes to Kindle Fire, because we work with them using their copyright. When we say digital education, it's just to convert an analog data or analog document into a digital form. So we'll put it on the tablet. So once we do that, those that has a copyright, we need to work with the publishers so we can populate it on the tablet. So they are still going to be in business, even not even more. They are going to even improve on the publishers' business. Yeah, so we are working with them, and we believe in SDG 17 agenda that talks about collaboration. So this is a collaborated project that the government is bringing to the people of Ghana.
So this is the first phase. I don't know when the second phase will start. What was the rollout plan generally? How do you intend to roll this out?
Very good. We have the 15 schools that we have selected, and we are working with GES and of course TVET and other agencies in the country. So we have a schedule for the 15 schools, and we are working with all the stores in GES stores and the TVET. So once the tablets get there, of course, all the regions and the districts. So the whole approach will be in sort of a pyramid. From the national, it gets to the regional, then it goes to the districts, which we have regional directors, we have district directors, CISOs, and they will all be part of this already. So they will make sure it gets to the schools and we lock it. Before we send anything out, we already have the serial numbers of the tablets for us to be able to track the tablets, to know who receive it at any point, and also to track the what the usage by the students, so you don't get missing and other stuff. So we have a fantastic implementation plan for the tablets to get to the right schools and at the right time.
It's great to have smart things for students, so they become globally competitive. But this looks like a very huge project, and Ghana says it doesn't have money. We can't pay our debt and all of that. This is quite a huge project. How are we funding this? How are we getting money to fund this?
When it comes to technology, I mean, we know when it comes to technology, we are in the fourth industrial revolution. The first, second, third, and now fourth, even coupled with fifth industrial revolution. We have to accept it that we are in technological arena or economy now. So when it comes to that, CENLOS as the forefront agency for this project, we consider a lot of things before. And of course, we briefed the Honorable Minister for Education, who understands this project better. He's one of the leaders who everyone refers as the transformational leader when it comes to EdTech. So we have done a lot of consultations to make sure this will meet the standard. The things we look out for is, one, we look out for policy. Policy to govern ICT in education, which we have ESP, that is Education Strategic Plan for the ministry, and of course for Ghana, we have ICT policy. We look at infrastructure, that is the tablet playing a pivotal role for infrastructure, and also connectivity and other stuff. Then we look at content for the tablet, which Ghana, we are ready for content. CENLOS, we are the mastery of content production. We have it on the tablet. We look at capacity building to make sure our teachers can actually use these tablets to teach and other stuff. We are doing capacity training. Most of the teachers has received their tablets, and of course, training has been dished to them. And we look at assessment and of course, curriculum. All these stuff has been looked at, and the funding, of course, is a procurement. This thing, I know it's a Ghana government project, so Ghana government should be the one funding for the project.
So the government of Ghana is funding this. So we have about 1.2, 1.5 million students in senior high schools, and eventually all these students are going to have tablets. That's about 1.5 units of this tablet. That's huge, and that's a big procurement matter.
Yeah, but like I said, the revolution we are in, if we have to do analysis, we don't have to deprive our students from using tablets and be ready for globalization. So I think sometimes it's better for the country to confront issues, to make sure we do cost-benefit analysis. In this case, if you look at the cost, then you look at the benefit. I think the benefit outweighs the cost, especially if you are training your student for globalization, as you are preparing them for the fourth and fifth industrial revolution. Other countries, Rwanda and many countries, they have been doing these kind of stuff. So we don't have to deprive them, because it will get to a time you don't have to travel to the UK or any places to seek for job. You need to be here to do all that, and the kids needs to know how to use digital tools to teach. So I believe the benefit outweighs the cost.
So these 15 beneficiary schools, who are they or what are they?
Mostly some of the STEM schools, of course. We have Wesley Girls, we have Manfi Girls, Upukuari, we have some in the Central and Greater Accra, that is applied. We have applied to also receive. We have Paxempe, Awaso, of course, Bosomtri Girls, and more schools that we have selected. Every school will receive their tablets. It's just a matter of time, and their schedules will be met accordingly.
So what's the content? What's on the tablet really? Core subjects, elective subjects, storybooks, extracurricular stuff. What's on the tablet?
Very good. When it comes to the tablets, the content on it are the core subjects that the student would need to complete SHS1, SHS2, and 3. And we have the electives also on the tablet. So basically, whatever students would need to go through their educational time or period within the senior high school is on the tablets. And when it comes to the content, we do a lot of content production at CENLOS, and those contents are the ones that is on the tablets. And we are talking about interactive, and we are talking about tests, audio visuals, videos, quizzes, to make sure that a student can receive audio and visuals at the same time. And the interactives is the one that students will read and also look at it and being able to interact with the content. And all this is focusing on also upgrading and helping the students to develop their 4 C's that talks about collaboration, good communication skills, critical thinking, and creativity. So we don't miss out in the fourth industrial revolution. So all these contents are on the tablets, and it's really going to be a game changer for the people of Ghana.
So we talk about quizzes, etc., being on the tablets. So if there's a quiz on it or there's a test on it, and I just finish it at the end, or the test refreshes itself, so that every time I want to practice, I get something new to practice.
Of course, you have to pass. We have done this in consultation with NACA and other WAEC and other agencies, other ministries. So they have set it, into units for us. So once a student is through, for instance, if you are doing physics or titration or anything, once you are done reading, for instance, you should take a test, a trial test, to know that whatever you read, you are being mastery in that area. So you take that test and you will see your scores. Everything is automated. So that is the kind of things we have. Then we have what we call the learner test. Learner test is, for instance, if Acula test books or Acula series, we just have to digitize it and put it on the tablet. But we need to be in consultation with the producer or the publisher. Yes.
I see. So again, if I like storybooks, extracurricular, do I get some of these things on it, or can I download from other sources? Yes. Or what you've given me is what you've given me, and I can add to it?
No, we place ourselves in the shoes of the students to make sure that we don't do anything that is outside education. We are careful not students to veer off to other sites or other platform. So whatever they need to be very flexible and receive educational content is what we have on there. So seamless again with other stakeholders. We have what we call the Open Educational Resources, that is OER platform. So that is where you will receive your storybooks and other stuff, and it's free copyrighted content that we have it on the tablet.
So talk to us about how you make sure that students do not access inappropriate content, pornography, TikTok. I mean, things which may not be useful for them at their age. How will you ensure that they don't veer off into the World Wide Web without guidance or direction?
If a student is using an online mode, definitely you are connected, and connectivity can be monitored. We can monitor the usage of your bandwidth and other stuff, so we know how to monitor where they are. And those connectivity that we are giving to students, if you veer off to, let's say, Facebook, it will not show up, it wouldn't pop up, the window would not come. It is restricted. So everything is being monitored, and we have trained people. Especially, we are working with the Cybersecurity Authority. Of course, St. Louis has also trained most of our staff on cybersecurity. We have three kinds of website. We have the clear web, we have the deep web, we have the dark web. So whatever they are doing on the tablets is on the clear web. But we can also go behind and see what they are doing. But the good news is you can't even get to any website, because whatever connectivity we are monitoring it to make sure you can veer off. So parents, everyone, teachers should be very relaxed and satisfied that the ministry under the leadership of Dr. Yawze Dichum, everything is under control, and we have carefully analyzed this for quite some time before implementation.
So when I'm in the online mode, who gives me data? How do I account for data? Who gives me data?
Most of our senior high schools, I think all of them, has a free Wi-Fi in the schools under the
But the free Wi-Fi, we have indication that it's not working as it should.
It depends on what you say is not working.
Because if it would take me forever to get onto a site or to access a site, that cannot be reliable.
No, the required connectivity that you need will be provided. You need 5 megapixels or 5 megapixels before you can download, and also to upload it has to be 10. You understand? So we know that we are going to provide that for the students. So this is what we have. Anything aside, the student don't need it. So we know the requirements already. Yeah.
I see. This is the point blank segment on Eyewitness News. My guest is the Executive Director for the Center for National Distance Learning and Open Schooling, CENDLOS, Nana Jemfi Adjuabo. We're talking about government, Ghana Smart Schools project. The government is planning to roll out this particular project that will seeks to supply all senior high school students one tablet free of charge that will help them do their work and all of that to make them globally competitive. And we're just trying to interrogate the program and what it is generally, and so that's what we've been doing. There are areas which do not have power, electricity. So when these tablets are in the hands of students in those areas, how do they charge the tablets? How do they ensure that they use the tablet, or they get to use the tablets really?
Good. Again, like I said, a lot of work has gone into this project and assessment has been done. So all these areas, we have factored them in. So the tablet has a solar charging portal that you could use it under such circumstances. So no other area will be deprived. So if you don't have electricity, you still can use the tablet. So all these consideration has been taken into has been factored in. Yeah.
So you give me a tablet, somebody steals the tablet. Do I get a replacement, or will you sell it to me this time around because it's free? If it's missing and I want another one because I can't be left without a tablet, do I make a case to you so you replace it for me, or I have to buy it?
We know that they are students, so we don't envision that they have to buy it. But we have, through the leadership again of the Minister for Education, and of course by extension the President for this country, we have a lot of measures in place. For instance, to track a tablet, we have all the IMEI numbers that we have it at the ministry. So we'll be tracking it, and we have set up a monitoring unit that will be monitoring where. But
you're tracking the tablets.
Yes, we can.
But that, of course, it's in theory, it sounds great. Phones, etc., have these IMEI numbers. Your phone gets missing, you want to track it, but you track it, you can't get it.
Yes.
So if that is the only safeguard, then
that's all the tablets is also, it has insurance. We have insurance for the tablets.
So when it gets missing, I mean, you can buy another one.
Yes, and
insurance will take care of that.
We have care centers, support centers
so these
across
are
the nation.
For maintenance, if they get spots.
Everything is there. CENDLOS in collaboration with others, tech support, and in all the nation, everywhere we have a support.
So how does it work? Do they keep the tablets in the school, or they go home with it?
Yeah, for now they can take the tablets. I mean, most of the time they will be in the school, but they can also take it home, so long as you are within SHS 1, 2, and 3. As soon as you graduate from SHS 3 and you are leaving, you have to pass the tablet back to the school. Ownership
so I don't own the tablet. You don't give it to me.
No, it's just like you going
using
to
a textbook.
A textbook. After you finish, you need to turn in the textbook. So it's just similar structure. You just
so I don't get to own the tablet. Then I won't keep it well.
No,
you know how things work.
Ownership resides in the school, but they will definitely keep it well. Again, like I said, we work with all the agencies, and of course we have ICT.
So you say this is for government. I'm buying book, I'm buying textbook, I'm buying tablet. So we don't care.
No.
So in the meantime, when they are in school, they can go home with it. If they're on vacation, can they go home with it?
For them to do extracurricular assignments and other
so they go home with it?
Yeah, they can go home with it.
I see.
Yes.
And school time they go home with it and they come back
yeah.
I
see.
See.
We need to give them that flexibility. So.
I see. So the app on it, is there an app I can download, for example, on my computer? Assuming I'm leaving school, maybe I like the content. Maybe I have to rewrite my exam of deck or something, and I want the content. Can I upload or can I download the app on my private laptop or tablet, for example?
Yeah, the tablet is preloaded with the learning management system, and it's meant for that tablet. So using a different device, that one you have to go through it laid down structures before, but it's not meant for, it's just for public schools. So it's on that specific tablet. Again, it helps us to once again monitor and track the tablet. So it's not in the apps market or anything like that. Yeah.
I see. What will be your final word? So on Monday, we are expecting this program to be launched. What will be your final word, Mr. Jabo?
Yeah, my final words is I want to assure the Minister for Education and, of course, definitely the President and his able Lieutenant, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, wants to assure all parents and the people of Ghana that this project is actually going to deepen the quality of education, is going to improve access, and of course it's very relevant within the educational space. We need these devices to be able to prepare the students for this industrial revolution we are in. We have witnessed a lot of revolution in Ghana. We are not going to stay aloof and watch.
Very well.
We need to make sure all these persons, the students, receive that.
So what are the specs for these tablets?
The specs it has a quad core processor, which is very good on electricity consumption, and it has 10 inches screen and a solar based portable charger for the tablet. Very durable, so it can hit on the ground and nothing will happen to the tablet.
I see.
Waterproof and everything.
Very well. So that was the Executive Director for the Center for National Distance Learning Open Schooling, CENDLOS, Nana Jemfi Adjabo, helping us appreciate what they've been doing in respect of the Ghana Smart Schools project, which launches on March 25. The project seeks to give every student one tablet that they can use for their education. So this is how we conclude today's edition of the program. Show produced by Nana Kobna Wilson, Beverly London, and Sami Afe. Technical assistance given by Daniel Squashi. Social media support provided by Edwin Kwa Kofi. Earlier you heard Eno Safo. My name is Salom Adonu. Have a good evening.